When I was young, when I was growing up, and for the whole of my life, I've always had an affinity for film, for storytelling, and for creativity. From the time I was 3 years old, I was in love with the medium of film. This adoration stemmed from one particular film studio, a studio which at this point is almost a century old. A studio that filled me and millions of others with joy. A studio that can make an audience laugh by the jokes of Robin Williams, cry at the sight of a lion pining for its dad, be inspired by the courage of a woman going against society, and feel the love of three brothers finally embracing each other again. Disney, over the 20th century, was more than simply a studio. It was a dream factory, a symbol of all things good in the world, a symbol of innocence and childlike wonder during times of anguish and suffering. However, over the years, Disney's ideals, the icon of Disney, has mutated from a symbol of hope and wonder to the embodiment of corporate identity. It's now seen not as a dream factory but as a cash cow, absorbing all and any franchise it requires to milk the film industry of every last dollar, pound, euro and yen. And to me, it's, to say the least, a horrible and disheartening feeling to witness this land of wonder so coveted in my childhood go through such a fall from grace. From the late 1980s to the late 1990s, Disney as a studio went through a period now referred to as the Disney Renaissance. They could do no wrong in this time, not only releasing fantastic movie after fantastic movie, but also revolutionizing the possibilities of animation with Pixar's release of Toy Story in 1995. Prior to Disney's buyout of the studio in 2006, Pixar had one of, if not the best, first decade of filmmaking in cinematic history, producing a smash hit annually and showing no signs of faltering. During these early years, Pixar showed a dedication to originality, making it clear they by no means wanted to push out sequels for the sake of it without a genuine reason for the sequel story to be told. But then, just 5 years after Disney fully purchased Pixar, we got Cars 2. Now, I don't need to go into why Cars 2 is fundamentally a broken mess of a film, but with its release we got the first signal of a downfall of creative integrity from Disney. By this time, the days of majestic 2D animation were long dead, with 3D CGI animation completely controlling the sector of the industry. And over the following decade, we would see Pixar's original dedication to preventing unnecessary sequels go completely out the window, as from 2011 to 2019 we received, well, Toy Story 3, Cars 2, Monsters University, Planes and Planes 2, Cars 3, Finding Dory, The Incredibles 2, and of course, most recently, Toy Story 4. This abundance of sequels has by no means failed Disney financially. However, it was clear with the consistent deterioration in quality that the company were much less focused on amazing creative stories as they were with amazing returns for their investors. However, this loss of creative integrity was nothing in comparison with Disney's other plan, which was, of course, to remake everything, but worse. When it comes to Disney classics, nearly every single film and character is instantly recognizable to most people. For adults, they grew up absorbed in the tales of The Little Mermaid, Cinderella, The Jungle Book, and when it comes to kids, they more than likely had parents who are currently bringing them up on those tales. So when there's such a huge market for properties, what else is there to do but remake them? Back in 2014, when I heard about a Cinderella remake, I can't lie, I was kind of indifferent. Cinderella's never really been my type of thing. But then, a few months later, when we heard about a Jungle Book remake, well, it's an understatement to say that I was hyped. An updated version of that film I watched in 360p on a broken VHS hundreds of times growing up. That'd be brilliant, right? Well, that's what I thought until I saw the trailer. Now, don't get me wrong, I was still excited and I still went to watch it. And to be honest, The Jungle Book, it ended up being very good. But seeing characters like King Louie and Bagheera as real life action animals, it just really felt off. Then, over the next few years, Disney pumped out more and more of these non-animated remakes, and with each one came more disappointment. That was until last year, in which we got the trailer for a live-action reincarnation of The Lion King. By far my favourite childhood movie, when I saw the browns and the greys of the Lion King 2019 trailer, I couldn't believe my eyes. That trailer was just like a Nat Geo documentary with some music over it, and it really disheartened me. Needless to say, I was intensely disappointed, and my fears for the film ended up being right. The Lion King ended up being a lifeless cash grab, but one that was immensely successful for Disney. Real quick, I just want to say that I by no means want to disrespect the VFX artists on The Lion King 2019, because the visuals and the CGI in that film are truly revolutionary. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Disney could take a film so full of life and colour and beauty and love and turn it into this soulless brown and grey cash grab. And now, with the announcement of Disney Plus, it appears Disney plan to remake every single one of their former masterpieces in this way. And to say it's disheartening would be an understatement. Speaking of Disney Plus, that brings us on to Disney's next order of business. Buy everything. Disney, not unlike Thanos, are on a mission. Not a mission to eliminate 50% of life, but a mission to eliminate 100% of competition in the film industry. Over the past few decades, they've slowly been building up the monopoly gauntlet, and they're getting ready to snap. Of course, this began with the purchase of Pixar in 2006, and from there the company didn't slow down, acquiring Marvel Entertainment in 2009, just a year after they kicked off what has become the most successful film franchise in history. 3 years later, big ol' Mickey decided to pick up Lucasfilm, who, if you didn't know because you've been living under a rock since 1977, own a $30 billion-ish franchise. You probably know it, you've probably heard of it somewhere. Then, in 2014, after successfully taking over the film industry, Disney switched their sights to the internet, acquiring Maker Studios for $500 million, who are by far the biggest YouTube partner service, partnering Disney with some of the biggest YouTube content creators on earth. Well, except PewDiePie, they dropped him in 2017, but we never talk about that. Okay? Never. And finally, in March of this year, Disney spread their power to the TV industry, acquiring pretty much the entirety of Fox. Monopolies can be a dangerous thing. Not only do they put enormous amounts of control and power into select few people's pockets, but they also completely remove all competition and end up with the consumers, the people, receiving worse quality services. And despite Disney not finishing their monopoly gauntlet yet, they're on their way. Luckily, the recent drama surrounding Spider-Man has shown some signs of light. If you don't know, recently Disney and Sony Pictures were unable to establish a new deal surrounding the film rights to the character. Disney attempted to raise their cut of Spider-Man films by 45%, and despite enormous backlash, Sony Pictures stood their ground and refused, not succumbing to the Disney overlords. And that is a good sign of things to come. You know, I'm upset too about, Tom Holland's Spider-Man not in the MCU anymore. It sucks. But at the same time, it's a good sign that a company is standing up and not allowing Disney to just walk all over them and eventually consume them as a company. Hopefully, more companies will stand up to these unwavering buyouts, and maybe, just maybe, the Disney monolith will be stopped. So, for the majority of this video, it may seem like I've forgotten the second half of the title. I've gone on about how Disney's fallen from grace, how they've lost their creative integrity, how their symbol's been compromised. And to me, all of this is true. But that by no means that I'm saying that Disney is failing. The top 6 highest grossing movies of this year are all Disney products. Fuck, they made the highest grossing movie of all time this year. They're an estimated $130 billion company, and with the release of Disney Plus at the end of this year, it looks like their market share is just going to keep on growing. Disney, as I and millions of others once knew it, is dead. The studio that sparked warmth and beauty in people's hearts is gone. The symbol of Mickey Mouse that was once synonymous with joy now represents a corporate monolith that has a string directly in the wallets of audiences worldwide. But the new company, the new Disney, appears to be everlasting. With a grip on our wallets and our hearts, as well as their hands in every single entertainment industry, Disney will survive and thrive as long as people need entertainment and absorb it. That is to say, they will survive forever. Thanks for watching. Comment down below and tell me what you think of the Disney overlords. I do read every single comment. Also, if you enjoyed the video, I'd really genuinely appreciate it if you could hit subscribe and like. And yeah, I've been Scarab. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.